Well, welcome to this teaching on love the more excellent way. In this session, or this 10-minute little video, I want to specifically focus on love is not easily angered. That's the phrase which is used in the New International Version of the Bible. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 4 and 5, and let's read this. It says in verse 4, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, and now it says it is not easily angered. Well, more specifically, the word which the New International Version translators used was angered, but it's really the word provoke, and there is no easily in the text. What it actually should say is love is not provoked. To be provoked, this Greek word which is translated here, actually is as if it's something sharp which is poking you. In other words, to spur you, like where a cowboy would have spurs on his heels and he would poke the horse to get the horse moving. In the same way, as this is a letter opener that I have here, and if I was poked with this, it would get me to move. I would move away from the poking. Love is not provoked. It is not poked. What does that really mean? What is God trying to convey for us? Well, I think in one sense, when you look at the phrases which are used specifically right in context before this, where love is patient, it's not proud. In other words, it's not about itself. And it says it doesn't boast, which is using words or language about self. And the other thing it says, it's not self-seeking. So now we come to this phrase, it's not provoked. I think that a lot of times when I'm provoked, the provocation may lead to anger, but that provoking, it's usually because I'm thinking about myself. In other words, when someone says something, it's like, how dare they speak to me that way? Or how dare they treat me that way? Or I can't believe they did that to me. See, that's all about me. And love is not incited. Love does not allow the things that happen in the world to provoke it, to arouse it, to spur it. Love is always about the other person. But when I'm concentrated and thinking about myself, and when someone does something which is harmful or negative or speaks maliciously about myself, when I'm living and focusing on love, when I'm focusing on how to serve the other, then it's almost as if it's water that just flushes off the back of a duck. It doesn't get to me. It doesn't incite me. It doesn't arouse me. In James chapter 1, verses 19 through 20, it says, "My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteousness that God desires." When I'm living in love, I'm not going to allow those things that happen, which happen to us all the time. I may get a flat tire. I don't allow that to just let me blow up. When I'm living in love, little things which normally give me cause for anger or to get mad, they don't lead to explosions. I don't need to explode. I can have reliance and I can just have my focus on God. Provocation, like I said, generally occurs when I'm focusing on myself. When the things that are poking me, it's all of a sudden, I'm hurt. I'm frustrated. I expected things to be different. When we're living in love, our focus is on other people. And my focus is on the fact that I'm not the center of the universe. It's almost like one day I sat down with a telescope and discovered the center of my universe. I realized it was me. See, love is not about me. This word, agape, is always focused on the other. But if I make myself the center of my own universe, then when things go wrong, when my expectations are not met, when people say mean and hurtful things or do hurtful things to me, that I would allow to provoke me, to cause me to be angry and frustrated and all that kind of stuff. But love is not provoked because my focus is on other people. In the Gospels, in Luke chapter 4, specifically in verses 28 through 30, is a record of Jesus Christ when he opened his ministry. He was in the synagogue and he read this section from Isaiah about how, what he was going to be doing. And the people were offended. And verse 28 says, all the people in the synagogue were furious when they heard this. They got up, drove him out of the town, and took him to the brow of the hill on which the town was built. Now Nazareth I've seen, and Nazareth sits on the top of a hill, and it's not the brow of a hill as this might let us think of just a small little hill. It's a cliff. And if you throw someone off that cliff, they're going to die. And that's where they took Jesus, to the edge of this cliff, as their intention was to kill him, to throw him off the hill, because in their minds he had blasphemed. He had opened up his ministry with this reading of Isaiah about those wonderful and gracious things that he was going to do. And it says that in order to throw him down the cliff, but he walked right through the crowd and went his way. See, Jesus Christ did not allow people to get his goat. He did not allow people to provoke him into sin. He was never poked in such a way so that he reacted in an ungodly manner. When we're walking in love, our focus is on what can we do to help and to serve another person. Often people say things which are extremely negative, and they can be very judgmental. And I've learned through the years that one of the phrases which I believe has been of a great benefit to me is, I'm sorry you feel that way, which is truthful. I am sorry that they feel that way. But just because they feel that way, or because that's what they believe to be true, doesn't mean it has to get me off my game. I can still walk in love with my focus on God and my focus on serving them, despite how negative people can be, if my focus is on what can I do in the midst of this situation? How can I serve this person? What can I do to love them? I'm sorry that they feel that way, but that doesn't make it truthful. It just means that's how they feel. So now my role would be, how can I love them through that? In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, there's a specific instruction to fathers. And it says, fathers, do not exasperate your children. It's the exact same root, the form of the word from which we got the word that they translated anger, but is provoke. Fathers, don't provoke your children. You don't set a child up. If I have a child, it's not loving for me just to frustrate that child so he becomes exasperated and wants to give up. Love never does that. Love always is fighting for the other person. And love is never provoked by the evil or the wrongful things that other people do in this world to us. It's just not. Angry people, like I said, are usually focused on themselves. And, when we deceive ourselves, a lot of times I've even heard people that get so deceived in their anger that they think, well, I'm angry, so God must be too. I mean, talk about prideful situation. Okay, so you're angry. Maybe you're wrong. When I get angry, one of the first things I have to do is sit down and examine myself. Is this about me? Is this because someone hurt my feelings? Or is this something that, there might be a righteous indignation, because love is not provoked. It just is not provoked. That's what the Word of God says. When we love, we're able to maintain our peace. I'm able to maintain my footing. I'm not going to let the things of the world knock me off my balance, off my equilibrium. It's just not going to get to us. So if you want to live the more excellent way, we're going to walk in love. And when we do, we're not going to let the things of this world provoke us.